When did you realize your childhood wasn't normal? In my family, we had something called Health Day every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. sharp. We'd finish breakfast, and Dad would already have the basement ready with his white coat on and all his medical equipment laid out on metal trays in the basement. Our mom would kiss our foreheads before sending us down one by one. Then came the examinations, thorough inspections of every inch of our bodies while he muttered medical terms and scribbled in thick blue binders. He'd make us stand naked under the bright lights while he circled us slowly, his gloved fingers pressing into our skin, checking what he called abnormalities. He called it preventative care. I dreaded it every single week. The rule was, you couldn't flinch or complain or you'd start over from the beginning. The strangest part, we weren't allowed to mention Health Day at school. Not to teachers, not to friends. I only realized in middle school how weird that was. How other kids just went to pediatricians once a year, not secret basement clinics every week. But the worst part was the special examinations. If Dad found something concerning during the regular check, you'd get called down on weeknights. He had this small locked room with bright lights and an exam table with stirrups. The metal was always cold, and he'd spend what felt like hours with his instruments, documenting every detail while telling us to relax and breathe. He said it was for comprehensive assessment. As a kid, I was terrified. I'd count the ceiling tiles over and over. But Dad said fear meant you were taking your health seriously. When I got older, I started questioning everything. Why did we need weekly exams when no one else did? Why did Mom drink before every Health Day? I remember once at 14, I asked if I could skip it for Rachel's sleepover. Dad gripped my wrist and stared at me with these desperate eyes. Health Day is the only thing keeping you safe, he said. That's when I knew something was deeply wrong. Rachel's family had annual checkups, vaccination schedules, growth charts on the fridge, no basement procedures, no locked rooms, no binders documenting their bodies, just normal healthcare. I finally refused to go downstairs when I turned 16. Dad went ballistic, screaming that I was ungrateful and didn't understand the dangers. Mom just stood there shaking. He locked me in my room and said I couldn't leave until I submitted to a full examination. The next morning, Mom slipped me $20 under the door and whispered to use the window. When I came back that night, Dad acted like nothing had happened. He just asked if I was ready for my examination, like he hadn't imprisoned me the night before. That's when I started planning. Still, the whole thing ate at me. Why was Dad so obsessed with our health when he wasn't even a doctor? Where did he get all that equipment? 3 months later, I told my health teacher everything. Mrs. Patterson kept her face very still as I explained our Saturday routine. She said she needed to make a phone call. I knew what that meant. She came back with the principal, then the police came, then child services. They took us out of class one by one, just like Health Day, except this time we didn't go home. I'll never forget Dad's face when they arrested him. Not angry, just broken. I was protecting them, he kept saying. The officers found the binders, dozens spanning back to when Jake was a toddler. Detailed measurements, development notes, photos we didn't remember. My little sister Emma's binder was the thickest. The detective told us Dad had been in foster care, 7 different homes before he aged out. The third home was where it happened. A foster father who was a paramedic, who did health checks on all the kids, who kept detailed records that no one questioned because he had medical training. The man was eventually caught, but not until after Dad left that home. Not until after 2 years of examinations. Dad had testified at the trial. The prosecutor said trauma victims sometimes recreate their abuse to feel in control. But here's what really messed me up. When they processed Dad's work computer, they found a blog. Anonymous. Years of posts about protecting children through vigilant health monitoring. Thousands of followers. Other parents asking for advice on examination techniques. He'd created a whole community. And in his final post written the morning of his arrest, he said he'd noticed behavioral changes in me that suggested possible abuse. He was asking his followers whether he should increase the examination frequency or install cameras in our rooms for continuous health monitoring. He never understood he was the danger he was trying to protect us from. 3 months later, we were in court. The judge reviewed all the evidence. Then she cleared her throat. Insufficient evidence, she said. That's when I saw it. The blue binder on her desk, the same kind Dad used, with a child's name on the spine. Full story on channel, link below.